Chapter 107. In Pursuit. Riel was currently contemplating on her true feelings for Akio. He called me an old friend. And then he never talked about the girl he had a fancy for. Was I the girl he was talking about? But if I was that girl, why didn't he say anything about his feelings for me? Was Akio just being careful not to ruin our friendship? Is he just waiting for the right time to express his feelings for me? And now, where did we go wrong? If he did tell me that he was in love with me, would I accept his love? I couldn't even tell, but my heart does whisper that. I also have feelings for him. Could Hyan-ki be the problem? That's why he decided to turn away from me. But why the sudden anger, Akio? It was as if you hated me so much. You don't want to talk to me. You kept on avoiding me. And you even refused my peace offering. Did you get jealous when Hyan-ki started getting close to Hyungsik and me? You should have talked to me. What have I done to deserve this? What have I done, Akio? If leaving you would lighten your burden, so you could give your full attention to Nicole, I will provide you with that space, Akio. I don't want to ruin your affection towards Nicole. If you think I stand in the way of your romantic relationship with Nicole, I will give you that freedom. You won't see Hyungsik and me anymore. All I wish is for your best. You have done so many good things for me, Akio, and I am returning your kindness. I won't ever be a distraction to you from now on. Goodbye, my dear Akio. Riel walked out of the office, with sadness and heavy heart. She refused to turn her head and look back, for it will be her last time to set foot on this ground. While driving home, she considered visiting the mall, and seeing how the interior designer handled her office. Riel was so delighted with how her office looked, as she had assumed it to be. She was inside the office, looking at the details in every corner of her office, when she heard Hyan-ki conversing with the decorator. She wanted to turn around and leave when Hyan-ki caught his eye of her. It was good you were here, Riel. I was giving my ideas about your office. Perhaps you could look around and see if you like how they did the room. Riel smiled and walked over. Her eyes grew wide, fascinated at how the room was done. Oh, I love it, Hyun. Your taste was truly splendid. Thank you for having a fancy over my taste. You have yet to see your office in the bank. Would you like to see it now? The polishing will be over soon. Hyan-ki was exuberant for having Riel pleased with his tasks. Riel brought out a sappy smile and a sheepish look at Hyan-ki. Sure, Hyun. I would be glad to. My car or yours? I'm glad you could drive now, but I'll let Junie be your driver now. Besides, you trusted Junie with his skills. Junie was surprised to see Riel with Hyan-ki. Junie, drive my Lexus and follow us to the bank. I will drive Riel's Audi SUV. After today you'll be her driver from now on. I couldn't let her drive if Hyungsik were tagging along. Riel was pleased with Hyan-ki's concern. When they entered the bank, Patricia and Natalie were astounded to see Riel and Hyan-ki together. Riel glanced at them, smiled, and continued walking towards the elevator. Mrs. Echeverria went to meet them appropriately and led them to Riel's new office. Riel was amazed at her new office. After the meeting, while on board in the car, Hyan-ki asked Riel, "Could I see my son today, Riel? I haven't seen him for a week. And I missed him, of course, Hyun. Hyungsik was also asking for you. You can have dinner with us." Hyan-ki was so pleased that he held and squeezed Riel's hand. When they reached Riel's mansion, Hyan-ki was so excited about caring for Hyungsik, and he was satisfied to have his son that night. And now the little boy was in his arms, sleeping. Hyan-ki laid his son in his bed and kept staring at his son. He never could have imagined that his boy looked so much as he was when he was a little boy. He told Riel, "It was a blessing for me to have my son look just like me. It was good that God had brought you both to life, despite my wrongdoings. I am so sorry for neglecting and having abandoned you both. Someday, I pray that you will find in your heart to forgive me, Riel. I appreciate your kindness so much, that you didn't deprive our son from knowing me. And his voice calling me Dada has given me more inspiration and motivation to work harder for my son's future." Hyan-ki was in tears, and Riel felt a heavy chest as she commiserated Hyan-ki's feelings. Riel hugged Hyan-ki to soothe him, patting his back. Hyan-ki felt Riel's closeness at that instant that he flinched a little, and their faces got closer. Hyan-ki and Riel stared at each other. But then Riel became conscious and slowly moved further. "Good night, Hyun," Riel said softly. Hyan-ki held Riel's hand, and before moving away, he kissed Riel on her cheek. "Good night, Riel. Sweet dreams." Hyan-ki briskly walked to the hall and out of the door. That night was remarkable for Hyan-ki. He was able to be with his family. He was very pleased, and had a satisfying night with them. The following day, Akio's helicopter landed on a runway field, and after getting off the aircraft, The team rushed toward the parked vehicles of Akio. Akio aboard his Cadillac Escalade together with other SUVs and his entourage, speedily to his building, and while parking, he noticed that Riel's car was not there. His brows furrowed, and he frowned, thinking about where his executive assistant might be. He walked quickly to the elevator, with Riel running through his mind, taking Nicole's call for granted. "What's the problem, Akio? You feel uncollected of your thoughts. You didn't even bother answering my calls?" Nicole asked in annoyance. Akio just stared at her, saying nothing. "I really couldn't understand you. Sometimes you're responsive with my affections, and then, like this instance, you feel perturbed. What's the problem with you, Akio?" Akio remarked irritably. "Couldn't you just zip your mouth? Even just for a few seconds, huh? You're so exasperating." Akio was already at his peak of antagonism. He briskly walked to his office to see if Riel was already in the room. Still looking for Riel, he asked the other secretary about the whereabouts of Riel. "Sir, she has not been reporting for since you left. And she said, she left a letter on your desk." He came inside his room and locked the door. Akio's heart was beating fast, and he was hesitant to look at the white envelope on his desk. He felt jittery as he held the envelope, but then he quickly opened it, anxious about what the letter was about. Then, slowly opening it with trembling hands, the letter showed Riel's resignation. Akio couldn't believe Riel would leave just like that. He felt so downcast and was likely in tears, not knowing what to do. Akio thought that he was only showing his dismay, because Riel was softening for Hyenki rather than becoming determined about her decision to be entirely out of Hyenki's life. He had no intention of driving her away ultimately, but to shake her a little, by getting close to Nicole. Akio didn't foresee that this would backfire on him. Akio thought of calling Riel on her mobile. It was ringing continuously, and at that moment, it was left unattended on Riel's desk, because during that time, Riel was busy conversing with Hyenki at a long table where sets of documents laid out for them to work on. The mobile was repeatedly ringing. Then Patricia went to answer it. On the screen was the name, "My best friend." "Hello, Mr. Akio Hinode. It is Patricia. I took the shot to answer your call, because Riel and Hyenki were busy discussing Riel's takeover of Hyen's work. They want to avoid distractions, because Riel is determined to know everything. Since this is not Hyen's only work, Hyen's work at the KOR-H&H was left hanging, because he got focused on Riel. I suggest you call her up tonight when she goes home." "Well, that's Riel. Alright. I'm so happy to know. What time do you think Riel calls for a night?" Akio was eager. "She usually wraps up at 7 in the evening." "Akio? Please, Patricia, be patient with me. I want to know if Hyun goes home with them." Patricia became silent for a while, thinking, and then replied, "I can't talk about that, Akio. I am not in a better position to answer your question." "Alright then, thank you anyway. I'll call Riel up tonight then." At 6 in the evening, Akio's team invited him for a drink in a bar. "Come join us, sir. We only wanted a few beers to unwind after our loaded 2-day work in our job site. It is our treat." Sir Akio gave a few seconds to think. He smiled, and gave a thumbs up. "Okay, I'm in, but just for a few drinks, since we still have work to do tomorrow." Okay, they went to a known bar in their district, and Akio's team of 5 architects ordered a case of beer and plates of chicken and seafood. While they were drinking, Riel popped up again in his mind. He was pondering how to get in touch with her, when one of his architects, Nolan, got curious about Riel's absence. "Sir, do you mind my asking, why was Riel not reporting for work anymore?" Nolan asked. "She resigned and didn't even wait for my return." Akio played with his beer mug with his fingers, and then he took a bill from his wallet. "Here's my share of our drinks. I have to go. I'll see you all tomorrow, so don't drink too much." While inside his vehicle, he looked at his wristwatch, leaned on his back, and fell into deep thought. Riel was running in his mind, and felt uneasy about her resignation. After a few more seconds, he started his vehicle's engine, but was hesitant, thinking if he would see Riel, or if he did, would Hyenki be there? Then he made a call. Akio wanted to see Riel, but was worried Hyenki might be there. Who did he call?